committee breakfast, but we do have some committee.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Senate Government Operations Committee meeting on Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. We're going to have two bills up for consideration today. We're going to move the legislative operation, the government accountability to later in the week. I'm hoping tomorrow. I've been invited to testify before the House Government Operations Committee tomorrow about S-298, which is the voting rights bill. And I don't think that'll take too long. We only have, as I recall, 3 instances of amendment. So I'll go up and explain what we did and be back down. So let's take up 953, H953, which is an act approving the amendments to the charter of the town of Kenton. And Tim, if you'd like to join us at the table.
I was testimony last week, right?
Yeah, we've already walked through it quite a bit. In case there are any questions or concerns from committee members, we can certainly look at it again. We do have the testimony from Zach Weaver from the Canton Select Board, right? And we had the vote total. I think Senator Morley will be reporting this, right? This was the one. There are very few voters.
There's
in the town.
600 people or like 597 voters or something.
Yeah. And 103 actually voted at the town meeting, but
that is special town meetings what I wrote down.
yes. Okay, anyway, welcome Tim, and thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you very much for having me back. For the record, my name is Tim Dublin, Legislative Counsel. You have the bill as introduced, or sorry, as passed by the House, which didn't really change as introduced, as you know. Just quickly walking through this. So section 1 is our boilerplate charter amendment approval language, just authorizing the amendment to be changed by the General Assembly, and notes that the vote occurred on May 15th, 2025. Section 2 gets into the meat of the charter change and creates a new section 5 of that charter titled Recall of Elected Town Officers. And it states that any elected town officer may be removed from office subject to following conditions and procedures. 1, written petition signed by not less than 50% of the registered voters of the town seeking the removal of the town officer and requesting a vote for the town at a regular special town meeting called for that purpose shall be filed with the select board and the town clerk.
Is it for the purpose or for that purpose?
Meaning called for the purpose, that purpose. Probably be better.
Doesn't matter.
Grammar to say that, but
I don't okay. Yeah.
Legally the same.
Okay.
If the petition is filed not more than 60 days and not less than 47 days before the next regular town meeting, the select board shall place the question of whether the elected officer shall be removed on the warning for the next regular town meeting. Otherwise, the select board shall call a special town meeting to be held within 45 days after receiving the petition to vote on whether the elected officer shall be removed. Communicated the recall vote shall be held by Australian ballot. 3, when the petition removal is approved by a majority of the voters, a majority of the votes cast at the regular or special town meeting, the town officers named in the petition shall cease to hold office during a vacancy. 4, the officer shall be removed only if at least as many registered voters in the town vote who approve the petition as voters to elect said officer in the most recent election where the officer was elected, or at least 1/3 of the registered voters in the town vote, whichever is fewer. And then let's see, we move on to the next section of the factor being B, the top of page 3. The vacancy resulting from the recall of an officer shall be filled in the manner prescribed by law. And C, a recall petition shall not be brought against an individual more than once within any 12-month period. Previously, section 3, the effective date of this act shall take effect on passage.
So I know I asked the question before. You forgive me for not remembering the answer, but on line 6 and 7. Assuming the majority of the votes indicated certain direction they'd like to see followed, does that town officer, cease office immediately, like as soon as they count the votes? Or does that create a vacancy where there is nobody, for instance, there's no more town clerk?
It would be upon certification of the election results. So proper canvassing, tabulation, canvassing,
Okay,
and then notification to Secretary of State's office.
and then there would be a vacancy.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, you said 167.
Well,
On
on
the
the
second page,
as passed by the House.
Right, I got.
15 through 17.
Oh, what have I done?
No,
We're only-
I have the as introduced. I wrote up. That's
Oh.
I have
as.
F passed by
Sorry,
the
yeah.
house.
Yeah, so page
Same
two,
thing.
Yeah, but
My lines are
But
different.
you-
Apologies.
use the word this.
He's
line
on
6 and 7.
Yeah,
So when the petition removal is approved by the voters, that town officer will cease office. And my
Right.
question was immediately, or is there some sort of grace period, or how do they handle the vacancy? I guess the vacancy is,
The vacancy's
on line 12. They talk about that.
Yeah, but there's a certification of results, is what he said. Then it gets filed with the Secretary of State's office, and then that creates the vacancy.
So that would take, I don't know, how many, a week, 10 days?
I don't know.
Well-
I could see it varying.
Yeah, it probably does.
Size.
Okay. It was just
Although here,
an idle question.
pretty quick, I would imagine.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions about the bill?
Is there something that drove this?
Yes, we had,
Can't remember.
property taxes went up. If I-
Oh, that's
Remember, they
right.
went back.
They went up a lot.
There was a reappraisal,
There was two reasons.
there was a reappraisal and then the unfortunate
Punish.
rise statewide in property taxes. And they felt, again, I'm paraphrasing, so people in Pan, forgive me if I'm mischaracterizing. That there was one board of selectmen or select person who was sort of, quote, not responsible, but.
Oh, no,
It was singled out.
Yes.
And there was reprisals
It
against
was a
that.
large solar project.
In addition,
Oh.
in addition, I mean, there were, it was
Yeah,
a
right.
compounded challenge.
Yes. Now, I wouldn't.
No.
necessarily bring it up on the floor. I would just report what they did and
Yeah.
if you get questions.
Yeah.
it's come back.
Well, sometimes you get that question like.
Yeah,
I
of
won't,
course, we just spoiled it by getting on YouTube. Yeah.
that's okay, because already was.
I think went
Because
over it.
already-
Went over it.
Yeah. And again, the vote, I had 56 yeses, 39 nos, and 8 blank.
That's what I.
Okay,
103 votes.
Yeah,
so,
and there was 60 municipals have recall provisions.
yes, including Hardwick-Stowe, Essex, Bennington, and all.
Written in 6A.
My point there was if someone had sort of a porch for a particular town official to think, because it has to be a majority of, not less than 15% of the registered voters who voted he or she in, I think.
Petition.
Yeah, then they'd be at the mercy of a pretty small group of people. But I guess that would, that's.
Well,
what
that would be,
15% of
that's
tiny
always,
numbers, 15%.
that's
Well,
always.
That's to file the petition. There's another threshold.
It would, yeah,
For,
it would take a majority of. Where is that?
the officer shall be removed only if at least as many registered voters in the town voted to
Yes.
approve the petition as voted to elect sit on to the most recent election. Or at least 1/3 of the registered voters, whichever is fewer.
Yeah, so the math I did, if there's 103, literally 58, what's the majority? That, whatever it is, would be able to remove some.
Right.
Yeah. I don't live in the town, so I don't know.
And there are other towns with sort of similar language. I recall working through similar language
I
a
had-
few years ago.
Looked up, there are at least 20 towns and villages, and then 7 waste and water districts that had similar language.
Okay.
Can you say, I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Last time I looked into it,
Yeah.
there was 20 towns and villages and 7 waste and water districts that had similar language.
Yeah. Have this recall provision.
Anything else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I would move that we accept the findings of the House in page 993, the patent chart update
Without a,
without an amendment.
oh, I think we need another form. Another, because formless.
Right, let's do it, yes.
No,
Just say your form.
just,
What should we
I'll
call
leave
it?
Thank you. So this is 9:53. And that was favoring of the House, favorable.
Favorable, no amendment, it's dated, it's 19. Oh, there are actually 170 registered voters. I think that's what I wrote down.
No, I think how many people voted?
Yes,
I think there's 590 something.
170 audience.
Confuse me.
Low turnout.
is that gonna change your vote?
There's 190, I had 170, whatever.
That's right, number of people that turned out on March 4th. There's a 28% turnout.
Right.
Although that doesn't jive with.
It doesn't drive with the number, so.
I'm not using that. Okay. So I'll write a rest of it there. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm poised.
Senator Collmore.
Yes.
At the plate.
Start to shake us up.
White. Senator White.
yes.
Senator Mihoski.
Yeah.
Senator Morley, yes. Senator Clarkson.
Yes.
You did that in reverse order.
I did,
Okay.
just for fun. It was all gonna be.
To shake us up.
I know, I was like,
Okay. So you have a clean copy of as passed by, hopefully.
I don't have a clean copy, I'm gonna get one.
Okay. And I'm sure Tim will provide you with section by section. Which we won't need until Thursday. Okay. Did we hear back from Matt?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Byron coming in. They're on.
No, Matt Musgrave.
Ah.
I wanted him to testify on, 686, so we could also do that.
Oh, you mean Matt? Oh,
No.
Coda Musgrave.
Musgrave.
Oh, okay.
Well, with that in mind, committee, why don't we take a break? We've just worked so hard in the last 12 minutes. And come back on, I don't know, 2:20, something like that. Yeah. Take it, adjourn, so 2:20.
Till when?
2:20.